Now we'll continue to introduce like the PS command. And PS command just to list all the process currently is running. Like PS AUS mean all the process currently running in your system. You can see all of them, and PS is equal to PS-EF. So they always list everything. But sometimes you want to focus as a special, like you know that your system running MySQL, right? So you can use grep command like MySQL. But in our case, because we haven't installed MySQL yet, so you didn't see any output. But in the following video, after we finish the installation of MySQL, we use this command. He can output the process or the detailed command how you run this MySQL in your system. So after you get here's UID. UID means this program is running by which ID, which user. PID just means this one because in Unix system, every program will use ID. It's called process ID, right? PPID just means the parent ID to create this PID if you have a parent. And TTY is mean from where you log in. Like TTY, this one is mean is console port. This one is mean you remote login, for example. So PID is important because if you find some process zombie, you want to kill it, you need to use the ID as the number, as the parameter to kill the special process. So also, the other important things for this is called status, right? Currently, maybe it's 100 process so far in your system, but most of them are in sleep. So when you see the capital S, that means currently this process is in the sleeping. If you see I, that means idle. If you Z, that means zombie. If you see some special M, the lowercase s, that means this is the major process. It may have some children process under it. So anytime if you kill this major process, all the children process usually should be killed by itself. But sometimes due to the system abnormal, right? So even the parent process be killed, the children still running, but the children will become a zombie. So in that case, you need to find it out and just kill one by one. And sometimes you find called error. Error mean that usually mean some fork, like I mean here. Error mean a lot of process called multi process or multi threading. That means one program have multiple tasks running at the same time. So the all process fork. So use the error. If you see this sign, that means this one should be the higher priority. And sometimes if you see the N, the capital N, that means lower priority. Again, if you want to see the more information, you can just use the main PS to see the output all the meaning. So in this demo, I just show you some very major different type. So yeah. And also PSAUS, you can see the other column is called start. This program start time, and time that means so far you use how many CPU. The unit here is second, right? So how many CPU already be used for this special program. And command just means a special command. You can see the command program also use the special parameter. You will know you use which parameter to start this process here. Okay, this is for PS, and like I say, if you want to queue something, you can use either Q or PQ. Q just usually use Q to add this process ID. You can queue this process to end this process. And sometimes if you find out some zombie, Q maybe cannot work. In that case, you use PQ. Use the syntax is very easy. Just queue and then plus this special process ID. Then you can queue it. Remember, it's from here. It's for process ID. It's not from the called PPID. PPID just means parent. PID just means itself process ID. Okay. And the next called netstat. Netstat from here you can see is for the network status. From this meaning you can guess what's the function. But again here we didn't install it yet. Also some very useful if config. You can see everything is tell you the command not found. So we again can use yarn install. This will all come from some very good package called netstat. I think it's with netstat dash. Here's some tools package. Include all the useful information. After that, you can type in the netstat or type in the if config. All of them is installed in the same package there. So you can see if config now can work, tell you how many need car and how many what's IP. Now we can also use the netstat. Use the dash LNP. You can see if you only use AN, that you list all the network activity of this unit system. But you know that usually network work in the client server mode, right? Client send out a request and server respond to it. If you just simply use the net-an, that means you list all the network activity, no matter your CentOS is acting as a server or acting as a client. When your CentOS go to internet to request some information, that means CentOS is working in a client mode. But when you CentOS to provide network services, like provide web services or provide database services, that means your CentOS is working in a server mode. So if you only want to see what kind of server mode, what kind of port you are listening on, you use this LNP. Here, everything listed just means you CentOS is working in a service only. You accept other client to request to you. So here you can see some different, like use TCP mean TCP version 4 and TCP IPv6, UDP and v4 and UDP v6, right? And here's some services you are listening on a port to ready to accept the client to request to the special services. Also some unit special called socket also is a listening layer. If we want to know more, again use the netstat. You can see more netstat. Sorry. You can use the main netstat. You can list all the parameter. The other is a similar function called SS. You can see here called another utility. It provides similar output as the netstat. That's why you call it another utility, like an alternate, right? So here, the command you can usually call the ss-tnl. You can see it's similar, like the output. Similar one maybe. -tnl. Yeah. Similar output as the netstat-tnl. It lists everything this CentOS is providing to the external world. And if sometimes if too many services are provided by the CentOS, you can use the grep command to quickly locate it, which service you want to focus on. It gives you information like the port number and the ID, for example. So this is the network part for the netstat and also the SS, the two similar tools to provide the network activity here. And sometimes you need to, when you do troubleshooting, you need to do some packet capture. was some special netstat, right? Like you want to monitor or do some packet capture of this ENSP03S3 to see if you do receive the query packet and have you sent out some response or no, right? In that case, you need to install tcpdump. By default, tcpdump is no layer. You can see here, right? tcpdump. So you need to use again use the yarn command to install called yarn install -y tcpdump. Sorry, my computer is a little slow. So you can see here after yarn install -y tcpdump, and you begin to install this tcpdump program in your CentOS. And again, tcpdump is a very good tool. It has a lot of parameter. I will not go through all of them. I just tell you some important or usually I use it in my routine work. First one is -i. That means you want to packet capture in which interface. This is important, especially when your server has a lot of physical interface. In our case, very simple, just two, right? One is loopback, the other called ENS GLP3, which is only one interface going to outside. So by default, you select that interface. But as a good habit, I would suggest you still use -i to define that I want to monitor in that special interface. The second is called -nn, which will tell you don't cover the protocol, keep the raw information. Otherwise, if you don't use this one, they'll try to translate the IP, change the port number to some string, which is no need for us. I want to keep everything as raw information. So in our information, like here, like I say, we have one interface called ENS. This physical interface go to external. So I just want to use the tcpdump -nn -i. That means I only can monitor this special interface EMP GLS3. So you can see a lot of, you can see in and out of this interface, because now I logging from my Ubuntu desktop, so you can see a lot of in and out output, right? So sometimes you can use some special, like only monitor 22. 22 is mean you can see a lot, right? Because I use SSH logging, but I didn't use telnet. If you open 23, that means I only monitor 23. That means I didn't telnet to the server, so they don't have any. You provide real time, but because there's no packet currently use port 23, so that's why you didn't see any output. Also, if you want to define a condition, both the like a.a.a.a, you can see because we don't have the 23, that's why you output 0. This means a condition. The traffic need to match both port and host in the same time. I remember we defined the DNS as a.a.a. Let me see if we can monitor some packet or no. Especially when I try to ping, I guess I can monitor it. Okay, let me give you an example. For example, I open the other window. I use the SSH2 yet. I try to initiate some DNS packet. This one is my master tool service 202. Actually, no need. Let me try. For example, I want to ping some www.ibm.com. Yeah, here we go. You can see every time when I ping to it, this information will be sent to my DNS. In our case, DNS I set up to a.a.a. So it begin to send out. You can see here. You ask the a.a.a. who is the ibm.com, and a.a.a. reply to you here, mean that direction, right? You send to this source, this destination. Ask a.a.a. who is the IBM.com, either reply to you and say this is 23. This is IBM IP address. Then you begin to ping it. From here you can see, right? It's 23. Then try to ping this IP. So this is tcpdump. From here you can see it's a very good tool, help you to monitor real-time network status. And also, like you can see, I told you, you can monitor all of 22. You can see a lot, right? And you can use some condition called not 22, also a lot. Not 22, also a lot. But sometimes you, because there's so many packets, you don't want to capture all of them. You just need to capture about like 10 of them. So you can use another parameter called count. So here, only output a 10 as example. When you reach a 10, this tcpdump will stop automatically. So this is a very good troubleshooting tool. And sometimes you want to save information to some pcap, right? For later analyze. So you can use the -w to output your capture package to some temporary file. In our case, I can call it called test file. .pcap is by default. Usually when you do some packet capture, by default you want to use a suffix as pcap. So later on you can use another tool to open it, like Wireshark or other good tool to analyze. You can put whatever suffix you want, but by default I suggest you use pcap. So this command will capture 10 lamb. After you reach 10, I think you should stop. I think, let me, so here you can see they do already tcpdump test and save about 948 bytes. Total included 9 packets so far, because I use Control-C to force it quit. If I didn't force it quit, when you reach 10, you will quit by yourself. But now remember, this file is called pcap. You cannot use the more command to show it because it's everything binary. You cannot know the information. So you can use the command called file and -test pcap. This is file is one of the Ubuntu command. It can tell you what's a file type it is. It's a binary file or text file, right? If you really want to read the information, you should use the tcpdump or use the Wireshark. Wireshark, you need to download it and to your local and use the GUI to open it. If you don't want to do it, you just use tcpdump to use the read. W means write and -r means read from this special file. So you can see here, this is in the history, in which time you capture which information, right? So this one, you can save some capture packet for later on analyze. Okay, I think that's it. That's it for today. Today I will introduce this SAR. This is a very good tool to monitor overall information, including CPU, memory, also the network. As low just mean monitor network activity. I/O mean monitor the hard disk. Free monitor the memory, and PS monitor all the process list and also queue, how to queue some special process. Next step is especially useful for you use some services in the CentOS. Will show you which port you are listening on and what kind of activities are ongoing for your services. And tcpdump is help you to do some packet capture for some troubleshooting purpose. Later we will just continue for some firewall default setting in your CentOS. Thank you.